Hi everyone, welcome back to the COZYROC MongoDB Destination video series. My name is Bobby Williams. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use COZYROC's MongoDB Destination component. First we will use the MongoDB Destination component to create a document, and then we'll update the created document, and finally we will delete the document. So let's get started. Alright, in our previous demonstrations we created the MongoDB connection and the MongoDB source. So I'm going to make a copy of this package, MongoDB source, and I'll rename it to MongoDB Destination. And the reason why I made a copy of that is because we already have our connection set up for the MongoDB connection and the Excel connection. So let's go ahead and test the MongoDB connection, make sure it's still working. And then our Excel connection we already have set up for stories.xls, and inside of that we have a worksheet called new story. I've already created a record in there, and we're going to use that to update the MongoDB destination, create a new document in MongoDB. Alright, so let's go ahead and add a data flow task to the control flow, and we'll rename that appropriately. And let's go ahead and drag an Excel source plus to the data flow, and we can rename that as well. So we're gonna get a new story from the Excel. So let's double click to configure it. It's our connection, and there's our worksheet called new story with one record in it, and we have a link in YouTube, and the title is Wild Ride, Coast Guard Jumps onto Fleeing Narco Sub in the Pacific Ocean. Alright, and now let's drag a MongoDB destination, and let's go ahead and double click the MongoDB destination to go ahead and edit. And we already have a MongoDB connection manager. We're going to choose the action create, and our collection of stories. And then I'll show you that the mapping, we don't have any input columns yet because we haven't linked up the Excel source plus. Alright, so let's go ahead and link them. Alright, and let's take a look at the mapping again, and now we see that our columns are matched. Alright, and let's go ahead and execute this package. Alright, you can see we've created one document. Let's go ahead and stop that, and let's switch over to MongoDB, and where we didn't have any record before for that title, we now have one record. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab this new ID that was created, and now we can search by the ID. Alright, and let's take that ID And let's go ahead and update our Excel. We've got another worksheet here that we're going to use to now show how to update a document in MongoDB. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it the ID that we just created so we can update it. And then we are also going to show an example of deleting that document. All right, so we've updated the worksheet appropriately now. And so let's go ahead and show an example of updating that record that we just created. So I'm going to disable this data flow, and we'll drag another data flow to the canvas here. All right, and then let's rename this data flow to update, and let's double click. And again, we'll add an Excel source plus. And let's double click to go ahead and configure the Excel. And this time we're going to use the worksheet update. And you can see we have a reference to a row in Excel that has the ID that's the same as the record that we created previously, but we are going to replace it, the href and the title, with a new article called An Introduction to Microsoft SQL Server Statistics. And let's drag a MongoDB destination again, and we'll configure that as the same way we did before, except for this time our action is going to be update, and we're going to update the stories collection. And you'll see the mapping is again, there's no inputs until we link the two of these together. And now when we look at the mapping of the columns is there. All right, so let's go ahead and run this package again. Okay, and one record was updated. Let's go ahead back to MongoDB, and we'll see that the title here was Coast Guard jumps on a fleeing narco sub. And if we refresh this, we see that the title is now An Introduction to Microsoft SQL Server Statistics. All right, so we have that article updated. Let's go back to our package here, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to disable the update, and we're going to add another data flow task to demonstrate the delete, and we'll update that accordingly. All right, and let's double click to go ahead and add our Excel source plus again, and this time we'll configure it to use the worksheet delete, which we have just column called ID with the ID that we originally created and updated. And let's go ahead and add a MongoDB destination. And we'll configure that with the connection again, and then the action this time is delete, and we'll delete from the stories collection. And you see we need to link these up to be able to map the columns. And now our ID is already automatically mapped. So let's go ahead and run this package again. Okay, and you can see one document was deleted. Let's go back over to MongoDB and we'll do the filter again, and we will see that the document has been deleted. Thank you for watching. If you have questions, don't hesitate to contact us by submitting a ticket on our help center at desk.cozyroc.com. You can join our social media at the link shown here. For more videos and content, subscribe to our channel.